Hi everyone, sorry for the hiccup. Thank you for joining us today. We are going to be presenting to you how we migrated 7 sites in 6 weeks in XM Cloud and Netlify, together with Katharina, and the plans that we made, challenges that we ran into, and some lessons learned. So I would like to start with the presenting agenda for today. We have the history, what platform we have currently in Zurich Insurance, why we go to XM Cloud, what we did to go there, and then challenges, some takeaways. Today's speakers, please, Katharina, go first.
Okay, so hi, I'm Katharina. I'm a solution architect at Sitecore. I'm in the professional services team and the technical account manager for Zurich Insurance. I've been working with Sitecore products since 2017, and I'm at Sitecore for 2 years now. And yeah, I'm supporting multiple customers on their way to XM Cloud. And yeah.
And I'm Emanuel Popescu. I'm originally from Romania, working for Zurich Insurance for more than 5 years. I see a lot of familiar faces here. Thank you for coming today. I was mainly responsible leading the migration project in Zurich Insurance, and I'm based in Zurich. So for the history, I would like just to present a couple of bullet points for what we have at the moment, until June 2023, when we moved to XM Cloud. So we had XP 10.1 at that point. It's a massive platform. We are hosting more than 40 websites, multi-language, different regions, different markets on the globe. And we use Sitecore 10.1, as I said, with SXA, so it's an MVC solution, hosted in Azure. It's mainly divided in 5 instances, so we have a shared instance where we have most of the sites which are not too complex, and then we have 4 Sitecore separate instances where we allowed the business units to extend what we offer them. So my team, we offer a shared library of components, templates, features, and just everything ready for the business unit to create content, right? Drag and drop, use the features from Sitecore to have a really good time to market. Of course, we use a lot of features like search, forms, personalization, analytics in 10.1. But going to the next slide, then I'm sorry to show this. We also had some pain points. Obviously, many of you know many of these, but these are the decision points why we decided to go to XM Cloud. These are just a summary, but obviously high maintenance costs for migrating from one version of Sitecore to another takes a lot of time, takes a big team, and a lot of costs. Obviously, infrastructure costs. If we have a setup like us, multiple Sitecore installations, you need to maintain 5 times the same infrastructure, upgrade, host, and maintain complex code. At times, we had also some complaints about the performance of the editing experience. So Experience Editor, as we know, is not one of the best editing experiences over there, but we kind of like the idea of XM Cloud Pages, which when we see a demo, we will just fall in love with it. We wanted to have our hands on, and the markets were like just, wow, this is amazing, let's use it. So another pain point that could have been solved. Some other pain points around Solar Search. We use search using SXA search components and Solar Search. There are some issues with indexing and some bugs on SXA components, especially around search components again. And just before moving to XM Cloud, we also enabled the Okta SSO. We wanted our end users to log in through an SSO, and it took us a lot of time. I don't know, there were some challenges there, so we kind of made it as a pain point here.
And for the architecture of the XP platform, it's quite common, I would say. You have a CDN, you have a firewall, and everything hosted on Azure in 2 regions to be fail-safe, multiple CD servers, multiple Solar VMs, and a CM instance, obviously. So nothing too surprising, but still quite big to fulfill all the requirements.
Yes, and as general overview, I wanted to just show a nice global map where we are. You know, Zurich Insurance is almost everywhere in the world. Therefore, us as a central team for technical team that is delivering this platform to the markets needs to cover the needs of worldwide needs, right? So we have people, like we have we have a business unit in US and then in other regions from the world. But as I mentioned before, we have 5 Sitecore instances, or projects as we call them now in XM Cloud. We have over 40 websites, complex, small landing pages, microsites. It's a huge variety of the sizes of the sites. 35 markets, meaning 35 countries. 100% compliancy. We managed to align our Zurich design system. We have a design system internally with our Sitecore platform, so it's a 100% integration. Some other figures like number of pages published daily, 55 pages average published daily. Overall, we have 13,000 pages across all the 40 websites. Quite a large number of users that are accessing the platform, over 120. And obviously, the availability for us is really important. So with 10.1, we had actually really good availability, 99.8, due to the architecture that Katharina showed previously. But these are just like general overview of the Zurich Web Platform, as we call it. And the reasons why we went to XM Cloud. So last year in 2023, just before taking a decision, what will convince us to go there? We also did like analysis on the market to see which are the modern, or which are the key trends of a modern CMS in 2023. So as you can see, there are 6 big ones that we did extracted from our analysis. You can see headless architecture is one of really important pieces or trends that if you want to expand, if you want to scale. AI power search, another area, because you need to kind of engage with your customers. You need to know what they search for. You need to know how you create content for them. And data from AI search, power search, it can help you tremendously. Gen AI, which is a topic that we know everyone is talking about these days. And also Dave said on the first day that it's an area that Sitecore is going to also spend some time to invest and to bring up those features. Omni-channel experiences, personalized content, and content authoring. Well, we kind of analyzed this. We said, okay, let's look at XM Cloud. Do we have all these? We said, yes, we have some of them, but there are also products that integrate with XM Cloud, and you can achieve all of these features. And then I wanted just to show how we tackle down challenges, with what kind of solutions. It's a comparison between XP and XM Cloud. And obviously, limitation on connecting with other external systems. I think this one. Yeah. So APIs, right? We like Experience Edge. We know GraphQL is amazing. So it's one of the solutions that we could tackle down that challenge. We had the basic search before, but with Sitecore Search, which is really intuitive and easy to use, AI-powered, we could have solved that challenge. We had low, let's say the Experience Editor, as I said, it was not the best editor to use for content editing. That was a challenge that we now sort out with Pages, with component from XM Cloud. Generally, in XP, if you don't spend a lot of time to customize or to improve, you have low accessibility performance scores, and Lighthouse will give you those yellow or red circles, which we don't like. But being on a headless architecture and using technologies or methodologies from Next.js, which is SSG, static site generation, in ISR, we managed to achieve really good benefits that we will see in the later slides where Katharina will present. How much we improved, and in percentages, it's quite amazing. And also another challenge for us was limited lead capabilities. Obviously, at that point, Sitecore XM forms were not available. But we used Salesforce forms, which is easy integration. It was quite straightforward. But on long run, we want to move to XM Cloud Forms, so we're looking forward to work with some teams, some people that I've seen today here. And obviously, the last one, long time to market. Also, in the achievements that Katharina will be showing you, we measure the time that it takes us to build content, how much time it takes a web editor, experienced, non-experienced, on average, to create a page, to bring some content and publish to the live site. And obviously, AI, Gen AI area we like to explore. So these are some solutions that we found. Going to XM Cloud, another key benefits of XM Cloud, as you all know, high performance, easy integrations, SEO improvements, performance, accessibility, all those things that we already know about. We manage also in terms of page speed to reduce probably in half compared to how we were before. Also, you will see this in the results, in the achievements. And then specifically for Zurich, the key benefits for the markets, as you can see here, full consistency with all the Zurich websites because of the integration of the Zurich design system and the digital asset manager. Then we have the tracking, so we also use some data layer that is easy to integrate with XM Cloud. Data for us is really important to know the customers and to make decisions in terms of marketing campaigns or other types of strategies. Fast time to market, as I mentioned before, it's one of the key points for us. We need to publish campaigns in a matter of maybe minutes. We want to keep updated with our competitors, so it's really important topic for us. Then scalability. We know XM Cloud, you have automatic updates, state-of-the-art technology. You don't need to care anymore about that, security patches and so on. And some operational efficiency, so we lower our development costs being on XM Cloud. And due to our shared model of components, as I said before, our platform is actually, we offer a solution to our markets, so we treat them as obviously customers. So our platform will give them all the features that they need. They don't need to care about development, they don't need to care about the IT, as you see there, IT costs and all the approvals, so everything that we manage from the central team. So we just want them to sit back, relax, and create content. That's our objective with them.
Yeah, so what did we do? Guess that's why you're all here. So you can go to the next slide. We started preparing the grounds, or Zurich started to preparing the grounds actually already in 2022. They had a team of 6 developers taking parts of their 10.1 instance and upgraded it to 10.3, and then moved it to headless using JSS. It was still hosted on Azure, but the front end was moved to Netlify. And this was the best starting point for them to start the migration to XM Cloud last year in June. And Emanuel will show you what they did in the project management way.
So next, some high-level, let's say, planning. I'm not really good at planning. I'm also a tech guy. I started as a software developer, so I'm not the best to represent some timelines and graphics, but I did my best for this slide. As our presentation, our topic today is how we migrated 7 sites. You can see here we have 1 row for each site, so we had to choose from 42 sites, so we selected 7 of them, just in a matter of how we can create those components they need to be created for these sites, the page templates and all the features that they need. So it's a variety. I could not name them, but you can kind of see based on the length of the project, of the complexity of it. So we selected 7 sites based on complexity, small, large, or medium. Then we seen, okay, how many components, which components they are used on this site. We selected those components and we focused on developing them. Also in page templates, we reduced a lot. Obviously, I haven't mentioned in the beginning, but our objective of this move to the XM Cloud was to simplify, to have reusability of assets, and to unify our websites on one experience, which is also on one design. Here I took site A, one of the sites which were like, let's say, the most complex, And you can see here we have a couple of phases spent on a few weeks. You see analysis, preparation, execution, content editing, feedback, sign off and go live, and then post-migration activities. So these are some activities, as you can also see here. The length of the activity is also it's dictated in the complexity. So content editing, one of the most challenging ones that we had. But I would say that if I'm going to go through all of the, let's say, phases, so you can see what we did exactly. Really important is an analysis phase. So you need to analyze the site that you want to migrate. You need to see how many pages you have, right? So you can extract it from the sitemap. We use PowerShell scripting to extract the kind of type of components and pages. We also estimated in this phase the complexity and effort required, and also identify the development tasks, which are going to be really important not in the next phase, but in the phase after. So preparation, we needed to ramp up the team to see how many developers we need, content editors, project managers, coordinators. We needed to create project trackers. All those project management things that you need to have, it's in this phase. Obviously, we also want to engage with the customers, because as this project is also like transformation, digital transformation, migration, but is also a cleanup phase. So we have a lot of customers that were really happy that we engaged them from the early stages of the migration project, because they had time to clean up some really old content that they never used, but it was still there, and we always carried that over with us when we did the migrations before. So when we did 8 to 9, 9 to 10, and then when we said, okay, let's sit back, see what you have, and clean up. So they really liked, and I really suggest you to engage with the customer in the really early stages of the project migration. In the execution phase, catch-ups with the team, with the stakeholders. Also, development is done in this phase because it's a dependency on the next phase, which is content editing. I just wanted to mention that in the execution phase, we used migration scripts. So we work with one partner, and they have a migration tool that they helped us to move content from 10.1 to 10.3, which was XM Cloud. So it is really crucial. It was really crucial for us to speed this up. Obviously, it helped us to reduce the timeline with some automation, and we tried these scripts, but there is no tool on the market that is perfect for everyone. So we had some gaps. There's where we needed to engage with manual migration. So we had a couple of content editors coming, filling in the gaps, and just make the page 100% as it's on the live side. Obviously, in this content editing phase is also important to create a knowledge base that can be used by the content editors. Content editors, they rely on expertise from, let's say, from leads editors. So what we did, we created like a library of FAQ, right? So we had a list of questions, list of answers. So it was really easy to work with this way, because then the information is one place you can use, and you can just go forward with it. Feedback phase, just getting feedback from customers, doing the QA in this phase, and making sure the page is 100% ready. And then the sign-off, go live, and post-migration activities. It's, as it says, sign-off, we need the sign-off from the business, that they are okay with what we did, and just to plan the date and the time to go live with it. And the post-migration activities, obviously, we need to train the business units or business users how to use the platform. Really positive feedback. They like Pages editor, even though Katharina will tell you later, we could not have used it in full capacity because the way that we started the development, but it's obviously a feature that we'd like to use more and more, and we know it's great, it's amazing, and it's always like updating. So
again, the architecture, I'm quite sure you all know it as well. It's no rocket science. We have the content editor to the left, editing content in the XM Cloud environments. We have 5 projects and 3 environments per project, dev, UAT, prod, as usual. And you publish to Edge, and then the end user, the website visitor, calls the website, goes through the firewall, and calls the application hosted in Netlify. Maybe you noticed we have 6 applications here in Netlify for our 3 environments. That's because we have external editing hosts. I'll get into that later. But that means that for the 7 sites we migrated, we have 42 applications hosted on Netlify. So it's quite a lot. And it will get even more later on, because when we migrate all these 40 sites, this will explode in big numbers. Then as Emanuel mentioned, on the Lighthouse scores, we got some big improvements there. For example, the performance for mobile increased over 20%. Accessibility is better now. Best practices desktop is over 25%. And SEO as well, better. The average engagement per session was increased by over 30%. That's really amazing. And the search position rankings was also increased by 23.8%. And here we have those colorful bubbles. It was not bad before, but it's even better now. We picked one site. We're not allowed to say the name, unfortunately. But believe me, I tested it again. In desktop, everything's green, everything's in the 90s, and in mobile is mostly good. Just the performance at 75, that's also okay. And I want to focus your attention on the left side, which is the content creation part we measured. And for a complex page with really a lot of components on it, like, I don't know, up to 10, 15 different components, maybe more. Yeah. It took the editors on XP, took them around 6 hours to create a full site. And on XM Cloud, it only takes them 3 hours. And same for a simple page. Like, it's just half the time they need for creating content. And this is one of our sites. We took a screenshot, just so you have some kind of image what we're talking about. It's one of the sites that was migrated in the first batch of sites. And now we come to the challenges.
Can I sit back, relax, and let Katharina speak?
So obviously, we also had some roadblocks. It wasn't all happy. But we managed to solve nearly all of them. And I want to tell you what the roadblocks were and what we did. So the first thing, as I mentioned before, we started in 2022 to migrate to JSS already. And the Foundation Head starter kit wasn't available then. So we started with the JSS, like a Blanco JSS application. And we did not use the Sitecore Foundation Head when we decided to migrate to XM Cloud. So at that point in time, it may have been a good decision. Looking back, it wasn't. And we still have issues with that. So the Foundation Head is extended all the time, and we always have to manually pull everything in that was added. We had to manually include all the middleware plugins for personalization, for the redirects. And we are currently in progress of including the complete Foundation Head, like moving everything over to be on the Foundation Head, based on the Foundation Head, because we realized it doesn't work like we started. And obviously, our recommendation is use the Foundation Head when you start a new XM Cloud project. I'm quite sure all of you were in Liz talk yesterday, and I'm really looking forward to all the things they're doing, improving it, making it more faster, making it usable faster, and make the experience better. And Then another requirement we had was to use the PNPM package manager. That's just a Zurich requirement that every IT project has to fulfill. So we realized it doesn't work with XM Cloud Deploy out of the box. So we couldn't deploy our front end with XM Cloud Deploy. And that's why we had to use external editing hosts. That's the reason. And another requirement we got from Zurich IT is to separate the repositories to have front end and back end in different repositories, which is also not nice when you want to deploy to XM Cloud. So we wrote a custom deployment pipeline in Azure DevOps. The connector wasn't available yet. And we obviously deployed the front end to Netlify and the backend code to XM Cloud with Azure DevOps. And the recommendation is use NPM, not anything else. And try to not use external editing hosts. Stay with the internal editing host, be as compliant as possible, and keep everything in one repository. Use a monorepo approach. It just makes your life easier. Jumping over to the hosting part, obviously with the external editing hosts, we needed to configure that in Netlify, and it was a bit hard to find all the right settings because it didn't work out of the box. So Experience Editor was not working. Some IPs were blocked. We also had issues that the sitemap and the robots.txt file were cached. And we also had some issues with the environment variable scope in Netlify. So we had to change that, and there's a nice blog post from Anton explaining exactly what we also did to make it work on Netlify. So you need to add a custom editing data cache. We built the sitemap and the robots.txt on demand, and just be aware of the environment variable scope. There's documentation on the Netlify site on how it differs from other vendors. And we also had issues I mentioned before with the amount of sites, because there were just build limitations on every push to the repository, and we solved it with switching off the automatic deployments, and we just deploy when and what we need. Because in the end, when we migrate all the 40 sites, we will have up to 240 applications there. So the recommendation is read the documentation, check out the blog post, and I think there's also documentation on the Sitecore site for Netlify setup. If you find anything that's missing, just let us know. We're always trying to improve it, and we're always looking for feedback. The custom components Emanuel mentioned with the design system, so that obviously was a requirement to have all the components in this Zurich design system. And it was a bit hard at first how we wanted to integrate that, but in the end we decided to create a web SDK and import it into the front-end application. And then if you make the markup in the right way, it works. Don't ask me on details. Ask him. And on the recommendations, there are some accelerate recipes on component design, component building. The recipe library is extended all the time. If you have any input and feedback, just let us know, and I have to speed up. Forms, we also mentioned. In the 7 sites, we had to migrate 5 forms. But looking into the future, we saw, okay, we have more forms on the other sites. So in total, there are over 500 forms that Zurich needs to migrate. And for the 7 sites, we used Salesforce forms that worked quite well. And Sitecore Forms wasn't available last year. But now we're actually looking into Sitecore Forms. We're working closely with Krista, with the Forms team, and trying to migrate everything onto XM Cloud Forms. And the recommendation now is use XM Cloud Forms. It's available for XM Cloud customers. And another recommendation, if your forms don't need to be edited, if you just build them once, and content editors don't need to edit them, just build them in the front end. It's just way more efficient. And maybe also try out Netlify Forms. It's a nice add-on if you build your forms statically in front end. Content migration, another big point we had to look into. And as Emanuel already mentioned, the partner we worked with had a standalone ETL migration tool. ETL stands for extract, transform, load. Maybe some of you know that, I didn't. And essentially, it's a standalone tool where you can define your source system and your target system, and then it extracts the data, transforms it, and loads it into the target system. So essentially moving data from A to B. And it was migrated, it was modified for Zurich specifications, and it worked quite well. We heard of Q2 a bit too late, unfortunately. We looked into it. It would have helped a lot, but we didn't know about it in the beginning, and when we took a look at it, we were already too far in the migration process. So
Talk with these two guys here.
Ones with the Q2 t-shirts. The Sitecore migration tool was also not available yet. I saw the lookout today in the presentation in the morning. Looks really great. I'm looking forward to the new version, and might also be worth looking into. And there's also some kind of way to migrate content with Razel. There are knowledge-based articles on how to connect it to XM Cloud. Could also be a way of migrating your content. So maybe you're all waiting on the recommendation here. Well, it depends. It depends on your requirements, and it depends on your existing content. There are different approaches. You just need to look what your existing content is, what your strategy is. Do you want to clean up first? Do you want to clean up after? Which I would not recommend. And what your requirements are, and then take a look at the available approaches and take the one that fits best for you. And if you have any questions, ask your Sitecore person to help you. We had some issues with the local setup, and I'm not sure how long I still have, so I will speed up a bit. Obviously, we're in an enterprise environment, so we have some security issues, VPN setups. So it was hard to start the containers to make everything work. Probably most of you guys were in the same situation once. In the end, we made it work, and in the end, we also found out that for a lot of tasks, the front-end developers don't even need a local XM Cloud instance. So they are now connecting directly to XM Cloud or to Edge and doing their front-end work on their machines. And looking to the future, we heard the talk yesterday from Liz. We are working on the dev experience. We are simplifying it. We are improving it. And check out the accelerate recipes for any troubleshooting stuff with Docker, with the setup. And yeah, we're increasing the tutorials, the docs, make leaner starter kits, make it all way simpler to use. Publishing, another topic. We had a talk today from Ivan about it. We also experienced bad performance during publish. We had a lot of content we needed to publish in a very short time. We had a lot of dependencies because we had a lot of content that was just interconnected with each other. And as you know, that can take some hours to be published. And we tried to solve it with restructuring content where possible. We improved the content resolving where possible. And we're currently trying to make all the components editable in Pages. We had some components, like some composite components like tabs or an accordion, which used edit frames that are not available in Pages. So now we have to rewrite the components in the front end to make them usable for the editors. And to get rid of Experience Editor, because currently some of the editors are still using Experience Editor, and this is slowing down XM Cloud because it's running on the same instance. And the recommendation is, and I'm also quoting Ivan here, use workflows. Please use workflows. Keep an eye on your dependencies. Maybe you won't need that anymore after the release of the new publishing feature. And don't use Experience Editor. Build your components so they're editable in Pages, and then you can use Pages. It's built for that. It's performant. It's fast. Don't use Experience Editor.
Right, now it's me again. Thanks, Katharina. Obviously, I just want to mention the great support that we got from Sitecore, the product teams from all the products in all the areas. So we highly recommend to get support from Sitecore, and obviously that we added Sitecore 360 to our license. It helps tremendously, especially if you are just starting and you have developers that they need to do the tech stack change. They need to get some learning. They need to ramp up on the new technology. So we got a lot of benefits from this, like the training materials and tutorials and certifications that you get from the Office 360 license. But also you have a technical account manager, like we have Katharina, who helped us a lot on the migration project. Yeah.
And I will speed up a bit on that, but some topics we discussed in our weekly time calls. We had discussions about Experience Edge and publishing, explaining how it all works and how we can improve it. Discussed the custom content resolving. We tried to remove everything that's possible. There were some questions on processes and on background information like security or backups in XM Cloud. We did the SSO setup in the cloud portal with multiple domains, migration to pages, the SXA site setup, Sitecore forms, support for the search setup that we did the last months, and of course escalating the support tickets that obviously get created when you use a product. And to have some numbers, Zurich created 57 support tickets up until today, only for XM Cloud. I have some graphics down there as well. The numbers don't add up because the graphics are from March and the total ticket number is from today. It's not, in the graphics, it's not all XM Cloud. It's also about Edge and Pages, publishing, search. And not all are bugs, some are feature requests. But yeah, in total 57 support tickets. And now for the takeaways. Based on our learnings, I already had it in the things moving up from the bottom of the slides. So we used the vanilla JSS application, but use the foundation head, use the starter kit, whatever's available. When you start your migration to XM Cloud, use that. Follow the best practices that are in the Accelerate recipes. They are good. If you find issues, if you find errors, please let us know. Talk to us, give us feedback. We're always open to improve. Use Sitecore 360. Manuel said it's great, so.
Yes, it is.
Keep your front-end code up to date. Do a very good analysis of your sites you want to migrate, of the content you have, and reserve some time for QA. It's sad that I need to say it, but reserve some time for QA, reserve some time for bug fixing before you have the go-live date. And build reusable components if you have a multi-site setup, because it makes everything easier for the developers and for the content editors. And with that, I hand over to you.
Yes, and that's the end. So thank you for having the patience to listen towards the end. But I think I just want to thank first to the Zurich team, to my team, who was mainly responsible for developing the first phase of the project, which was on 10.3 JSS. And then we did such a good quality product that we only changed the serialization from Unicorn to SES. And then we deployed the code to XM Cloud, and it worked amazing. So big congrats to the team, but also Sitecore team, support team from Sitecore, Krista in the team for XM Cloud Forms, for everyone who gave us support during this journey. Implementation partners, they helped us, as I said, on the automating the content migration, which is a key in such a large project that we have. And obviously everyone who was involved in our transition to XM Cloud. And this is not the end of the road. As we said, we have 23 more sites to migrate.
The 18th site went live today.
The 18th site went live today. Thank you. Thank you. And obviously, I really hope that you learned something from us today, and you will have fun with XM Cloud. Thank you.
Any questions? Well, it was super interesting.
Yeah.
Question?
I mean, from marketing perspective, marketers had to switch from Experience Editor to Pages. That's all, right? Or not?
Yes, yeah, we are, as we said, we are still doing the transition because initially we could not use the components, our components in the Pages editor. So we are transitioning the components to be fully compatible with Pages editor, but we are still using Experience Editor, unfortunately. So it was not a big transition for them. So they've been used to the Experience Editor in 10.1. It's obviously the same in 10.3.
Yeah, it is the same. I'm curious for me how simple is the switch from Experience Editor for forms for the marketer.
Yes, it's going to be really simple. I mean, especially in the Pages editor, it's much better than Experience Editor. Yeah.
Did you have any challenges or troubles around any integrations, external integrations, maybe some sort of personalization or anything around this?
Unfortunately, we don't use personalization, but we are planning to use the personalization that are embedded in XM Cloud.
Any more question?
Where is the next pub that we got to have?
Thank you very much. Big
Thank you
applause.
guys. Thank you for participating.